So, welcome back, folks. I am your host of the Boxing Podcast, Jake Skin, and this is going to be the start of a new series. Obviously, I have the podcast, I do interviews, but I thought, why not sit down in front of the camera and just speak a bit about boxing? So that is what I'm going to do, and I thought there's no better way to start this off than give my thoughts and my predictions on the massive card that is happening this Saturday in Saudi Arabia, Riyadh season. It is Beterbiev against Bivol. Now, I cannot wait for this card. I think we've seen the quality that Riyadh season have produced, and it's another top quality card from top to bottom. Some brilliant fights, there's some brilliant fighters, and I cannot wait. So we're going to start off, we're going to get straight into it. We're going to start off with Sky Nicholson taking on Raven Chapman. Now, it's a great fight. It's also a history-making fight. The first female world title fight to happen in Saudi Arabia, which I think is brilliant. It's absolutely great. It's, a stepping stone for bigger and better things. Hopefully there'll be many more world title fights. But speaking of this one, I do think that Sky Nicholson is just going to be too good. I think we know her background. We know her amateur background. We know how good she is. We've seen her in the professional game. And I just think she's too good. She will outbox Raven Chapman. I like Raven. I think she is a very good fighter. But I just think Sky is going to be that level or two above Raven. Now, I can see Raven winning the fight. There is a way she can win the fight. But she's going to have to try and go in there, fight on the inside, rough Sky up, and I just don't think that Sky is going to allow her to do that. I can't see it happening. So, yeah, my prediction for Sky Nicholson versus Raven Chapman is Sky Nicholson. I do think it's going to be a points win. So yeah, over 10 rounds, it'll be unanimous decision to Sky Nicholson. Then we move on to Ben Wicker versus Liam Cameron. This is a fight that I really, really like. Obviously, for those of you who have watched content on the channel previously, you will know that I am good friends with Liam. So yeah, I'm gonna have to go with Liam on this one and just hope that he gets the job done. But it's going to be an interesting fight. Liam Cameron, we know he's got this chance. He's been given this chance to fight on a card in Saudi. It's massive, absolutely massive opportunity for him. Ben Whitaker, we know, is the guy that's trying to be pushed. That they are trying to push Ben Whitaker to be the next big thing. He already has quite a big following. A few of his clips have gone viral because the way he fights. They're trying to push him. But this is the first step up I think Ben Whitaker has taken in terms of level of opponent. And Liam's going to be a test. Liam is certainly going to be a test for him. I don't think Ben is going to be able to be as flashy and as skillful as he usually is against Liam, because Liam knows those tricks. He knows what Ben Whitaker is going to try and do. And I don't think that Ben will be able to frustrate Liam as much as he hopes. Now, what Ben is definitely going to be able to do is use his boxing ability. Again, like Sky, he has that amateur background, and that's certainly going to be something that Liam, has to watch out for is that boxing ability. Liam's going to have to be on it from the first bell. And whilst on paper, then, you know, he is the better boxer. I think that's fair to say. He has that amateur boxing background. He's an Olympic medalist. I think it is fair to say he's the better boxer. I do hope that Liam gets the win, but I am going to say and give my prediction and go Liam Cameron to get the win, again by decision. Obviously, he just lost against Lyndon Arthur by split decision, so I'm going to go this time Liam Cameron to beat Ben Whitaker by split decision. Now, that probably is my heart ruling ahead, but I don't care. I'm so hyped for this fight, and yeah, that is the prediction I'm going with. Liam Cameron to get the split decision win over Ben Whitaker. Then we move on to Jai Tai against Jack Massie. Unfortunately for Jack Massie, I can only see this going one way, which is Jai Tai by knockout. I know in his last fight, Jai Tai against Marius Brodus, he didn't look great. It wasn't his best performance. He didn't look brilliant. But Jack Massie isn't Marius Brodus, that is for sure. Whilst I respect Massie, I do think he's a good fighter. He's a solid British level fighter. He is. European at best, I think. I don't think Jack Massie is that world title quality. And this is his chance to prove me wrong against one of the... He's definitely one of the most feared cruiserweights in the division. You have Billum Smith, you have Zorda Ramirez, Jai Tai. I think Jai Tai knocks out Jack Massie. I'm not going to do a prediction on what round, but I'm going to say Jai Tai wins by knockout. I think he'll just be too good. He'll be too ferocious. He'll, be too powerful. I think Massie is going to go in there. He's going to be tough, and I think he will take some punishment before the knockout does happen. I can't see it being a kind of Zorro situation where straight away Optai lands that punch and that's it, it's over. I do think Massie is going to make Optai work for that knockout, but I do think it will come. I do believe that Jai Tai is going to knock out Jack Massie. Then you move on to Fabio Wardley against Fraser Clark. It's another solid fight. All the fights on this card are solid fights. Obviously, had the first fight between Wardley and Clark and Wardley. And this one is an interesting one. It is an interesting one. I know quite a few people are swayed on this, and it probably is a 50-50. It probably is a 50-50. When I look at this fight, I don't see a definitive winner. But again, this is a prediction episode where I'm predicting the fight, so I'm going to give my prediction. I'm going to say Fabio Wardley. Recently signed with Queensbury on a multi-fight contract. So I do believe Fabio Wardley is going to get that win and move on to bigger and better things. But both these guys, I think I'll probably do another video on kind of like the heavyweight landscape at some point. Both these guys are in around, that top 15 level. You could argue maybe already in it. But I don't think Fraser Clark has a definitive win. Yeah, I think, you have the Dave Allen fight, but I think if Fraser Clark can win this, it shows he's at that level. It shows he's a top 15 heavyweight, I do believe. But yeah, it's a 50-50 fight, and it's one that I'm gonna give to Fabio Bortoli. It could go either way though. It could go either way that one. It's certainly gonna be an entertaining fight. I don't think it'll be as entertaining as the first fight though. I don't think it'll be entertaining as the first fight. So that is, something. Then we move on to, and I've got the piece of paper here that we have the fights on. I'm guessing this is going to be the running order, as it's how it was laid out on the fight poster, which is where I've got the info from. Chris Eubank Jr. takes on Kamil Zaramata. No offense to Kamil Zaramata, but I don't really think a prediction is needed on this. If Chris Eubank Jr. as co-main event for this fight, now I know it was going to be Shakur Stevenson versus Joe Cordina, so that is not for any fault of Chris Eubank Jr. that he is now co-main event, but for him to be put in, I don't know if he's in the co-main event spot. That's how it is on the fight poster. I have heard potentially that it may be Wardley Clark as co-main event, and I hope so, because I think that will be a better fight. I'm not 100% sure on that, but I have heard Wardley Clark could be the co-main event. I hope it is, because if Chris Eubank Jr. versus Kamil Zaramata is the co-main event, Chris Eubank Jr. is going to have to put on an absolute perfect performance. I mean, he's going to have to put on a perfect performance regardless of whether he's a co-main event or not. Because he's been talking, I was watching an Adele Oladipo video, and he was saying the same thing, making the same point. Chris Eubank Jr. has been calling out a lot of top names, and a fight that I think most people want to see is the Conor Benn fight. If Chris Eubank Jr. doesn't put on a perfect performance, is the hype going to be there for that fight? Like, he lost to Liam Smith, and then he gets the win over Liam Smith, which is a good win. It's a very good win. But then he goes and fights Kamil Zaramata. Like, Chris has to win this fight. And I think he will. I think he 100% will win this fight. But he has to look good doing it. That's the difference. Everyone else on this card can get away with winning. You know, I think there's that extra pressure on Chris Eubank, just because of the level of opponents he's fought and the level of opponent he's now fighting. I do believe that there is that extra pressure on Chris Eubank to get the win. And I do think he will. But again, it's another thing to look out for on that card. It's another talking point, is the extra pressure is on Chris Eubank Jr. And then we move to the main event, which, again, it just tops off a brilliant card. And it's a fight that we've wanted to see for a very, very long time. Very long time. And it's one that, again, you can't not be excited for this fight. But when you look at the fight, Artur Beterbiev against Dmitry Bivol for the undisputed light heavyweight world titles, you can't not get excited about this fight. It's gonna be quality. You have Artur Beterbiev, who has a 100% knockout ratio. I don't think there's any other fighter in boxing right now, apart from, maybe a few fighters that are 2-0, 3-0, 4-0, you might have a few that the upcoming guys coming up that have had 2 fights and they've got 2 knockouts. But there's no one, I'm sure it's 21 fights and 21 knockouts. That is ridiculous. And it's not like he's not fought anyone. He's fought a who's who in the light heavyweight division. And the same can be said for Bivol. He's fought a who's who fighters in that division. And it is the 2 best fighters coming together, and we get to see another undisputed champion being crowned. In terms of prediction, I'm gonna say it's on the spot here. I've not I've been thinking a bit, obviously, before I've done this video on who I think is going to win the fight, but same thing with Woody Clark. I don't have a definitive answer. So I'm gonna go Bivol. I'm gonna go Bivol to outbox Beterbiev on points victory. Now, the only reason why I'm not fully certain on that prediction is because, like I said earlier, Beterbiev has that 100% knockout ratio. He's knocked out, stopped every single one of his opponents. Now, I don't see him stopping Bivol. I don't. So I do think that 100% knockout ratio is going to end on Saturday. But still, there's still that bit of doubt in me that what if Beterbiev does it? Because he can, and a lot of people are predicting him to. They are predicting Beterbiev to be Bivol. And a lot of people, along with myself, are predicting Bivol to be Beterbiev. And that's why it's such an intriguing fight. Because again, no one really knows who's going to win. You can make, an educated guess on, Massie, Eubank versus Zaramata. You look at those fights and you're like, there's an obvious winner. You could argue Ben Wicker versus Liam Cameron. There's an obvious winner there. I think not, but Bivol Beterbiev, I don't think there's an obvious winner. And again, that's what makes the fight so intriguing. That's what makes this card so intriguing. Woody Clark, I don't think there's an obvious winner. Even though I am confident that Sky Nicholson wins, I think she's a slight favourite, but I don't think it's an obvious winner that, Sky Nicholson 100% wins this. And that's what makes this card as a whole so entertaining, and I think that's what makes all of these Riyadh cards so entertaining, because you don't know who's going to win. You can't 100% certainly put your finger on it that fighter is going to win, and that is what I love about the Riyadh season cards. That is what I love about this card as a whole. So yeah, I hope you do tune in to DAZN on Saturday to watch this absolutely brilliant show. And it's a brilliant show. I will be tuning in. So, with that being said, I'm Jake Skim, the host of the Boxing Podcast. I hope you very much did enjoy this video. And I will certainly be doing a few more of these.